Alright, it looks like I am indeed live. Let me just verify that audio is good, and then we'll get started. So just one moment. Alright, we are good to go. Hello everyone, 'tis I once again, BasementSushi, and today I am going to be playing Coloring Pixels. This is a very calm, just very chill game, and I picked it specifically for today because today's focus is on more Valentine's Day things, which is going to be tons of fun. So let me tell you just real quick how this stream is going to be different than, you know, any other stream I do. To make it more Valentine's Day themed, one, I finally made more Chickadoo questions. So for those of you who have never seen them before, ta-da, little pieces of paper all up in Chickadoo. They're all Valentine's Day and love and romance themed. So tons of fun. Plus, I have a list written out of past crushes, both ones I had and ones people had for me, past relationships. And so today's going to be my spiel on all past romance thingies while I color. So the coloring is just, you know, so there is a game. But this should be tons of fun. Give me just one moment to check one thing and then we'll get started. Oh, water. Yes. All right. Just deleting those real quick. All right. Here we go. I'm just going to start with the first one. So as you can see, it's basically just color. All right. So as always, you guys are also welcome to ask any questions you have for me. I'm going to pull out a few Valentine's-y Chickadoo questions. And while I'm answering them, I color. If you guys have questions, you're welcome to ask them. And you're also welcome to answer these questions as well. And then we can discuss. It's tons of fun. So I'm going to open up a few so I can kind of read through them as I color. Just so we don't get too bored or anything. Okay. Just making sure my mic wasn't muted. I was watching through my old Slime Rancher streams so I could write the descriptions for each video. And I had one video where like 40 minutes is muted. It is ridiculous. My goodness. These take a while to open. So I'm getting 4 open at once so I can just kind of read and talk. And then I'll keep coloring. All right, there we go. 4 open. Well, this is a nice variety of questions. All right, let's start with the first one. Have you ever received a card or gift from a secret admirer? As always, you guys are welcome to answer these as well. I actually have, sort of. It wasn't a secret admirer as in I didn't know who it was. It was secret as in I didn't know until they handed me the gift on Valentine's Day that they liked me. I had no clue. So it was... Actually, this is kind of a cool story, so I'll tell the whole story. It was someone that I met at like a playground after one of my soccer practices. And so we played a bit when we were much younger. See, it's a smile. We got along great. Ooh, onto heart, so appropriate for today. We got along great, so like we actually coordinated doing... That is 2? Oh, this is 2. We coordinated, like, you know, going over to each other's houses later. Or our parents did, because this is when we were really a lot younger. We had a ton of fun. We kept in contact for a bit. We lost touch for a while. And then we actually, like, me and my dad went to check out a church one time. And we ran into them there, which was such a fun coincidence. So we caught up a little more again, stayed in touch a little while. I actually at one point went over to their house for like a Christmas party, and they're the one who showed me you could crush candy cans and put them in your hot chocolate, which is why I do that to this day. That's the only reason I ever have a mortar and pestle, is so I can grind candy canes for hot chocolate, and they're the one who showed me that. But we actually ended up finding out later, after we lost touch again for a while, we were in the same school for middle and high school. So in middle school, one day, Valentine's Day, like after school, like as I was getting ready to leave, they caught up to me and gave me a little box of chocolates with a little teddy bear attached. And it's been so long, I do not remember how I reacted at all. But I remember on the walk home, just like, I was such an awkward little potato because I had no idea what to do. I'd never had like any guys show any interest in me ever. So I was just so shocked by this box of chocolates. So I ended up like putting it in my backpack, and when I got home, I like took them to my room and ate them. I remember I ate them all, even though there was like these coconut ones I didn't really like. But I kept the teddy bear, and I actually still have it to this day. I would show it, but it's like with my other stuff at my parents' house. But I never got rid of it. To this day, I have that little tiny red teddy bear. Its name is Strawberry. So it's always, you know, it's fun. It's fun to reminisce. But yeah, the only reason you might have heard me cross something out is I actually have a list of specific people and stories that if I don't cover during the Chickadoo questions, I want to cover otherwise. And if you guys have fun stories, if you have like romance advice you want, go for it, ask. That's what today's stream is. It's all Valentine's Day. And for those of you who are like, Valentine's Day, ew, don't worry. It's a one-day thing. But yeah. So there's that question. What's the next one? The next question is, how many people do you love? When I first read that, my immediate thought was a lot. Because, there's lots of different kinds of love. There's romantic love, which I have for my husband. Watermelon. There's familial love, which I have for my mom, my brothers, my dad, my grandparents, my cousins, my aunts and uncles. And then there's friendship love, which I have for a lot of my friends, honestly. And then there's just like love and care for people in general. So like, I love you guys for being so supportive and awesome. I love strangers I haven't even met. I love people who I see going out and doing good in the world. So yeah, I love lots of people. So yeah, that's that one. Let's see, what's the next one? Ideal Valentine's Day. Probably just spending a day at home, like with my husband, getting a massage or something. Something just relaxing. Listening to music, watching movies together. Talking. Because a lot of my favorite moments with my husband's favorite holidays, favorite dates, are the simple things. We've had fancier dates where we've gone out to eat. We've gone fancy places, but all the ones that stick out in my mind are the little ones, where we didn't have a lot of money, but we got creative. We had fun together. That kind of stuff. I think those are the best ones. All right. Let's see, what's the next one? Actually, I'll save that one for a little bit later, see if more people get on. But I will unroll a few more. How are you guys all doing today? Hopefully you are doing wonderfully. hopefully we get just as much variety, because those last set of questions had a decent variety compared to, like, these are all trying to be loosely themed around Valentine's Day. But and the music in this is so soothing. Strawberry Juice says, it's super rainy here and it's making me sleepy. Oh, that's fantastic. I miss the rain in Oregon. It rains here sometimes, but not a lot. We had a lot of snow. And in the summer, it pretty much is just warm. But not a lot of rain. I miss it. Alright. So Strawberry Juice, you're here for my stream of dishing on all my past romancy things. Answering romancy questions. Which feels so weird, because I feel like my love life has been so dead, but I have some stories. Alright. Let's see. Alright, I'll answer this one first. How did your last relationship end? It ended so, like, in such a weird way. The person basically just messaged me on Facebook and said that they thought we should be done. And it was so weird. I never got a full explanation for that, honestly. So I'm just like, I am still, like, very much in the dark as to what happened. You know what, I stayed, you know, I'd keep, English, I can do. I kept in touch with, I only have one ex. I kept in touch with them for a little bit, but I think they actually deleted their Facebook or something. Because even, like, on Facebook, the messages still show up, but it shows up as, like, Facebook user, not even as a name anymore. Strawberry Juice says, I remember you asking me advice about your husband before you guys dated. I don't even remember that. What did I ask you? Also, guys, I tried to be Valentine's Day themed. I wore a pink shirt. I only had 2 pink shirts and one of them ripped, so now I only have one. So it's this one. And then I used a pink hair tie in my hair. That's about as Valentine's-y as I can get. Let's see. Strawberry Juice says, you were nervous about being bi and maybe ace and how he would take it. Oh, gotcha. Right. Which turns out is not an issue. Neither of us are straight. Oh, you guys will get a kick out of this one. Alright. So the question is, have you ever played strip poker? I have not played strip poker. I have played strip other card games because I don't know how to play poker. So I haven't played strip poker. I've played strip card games, though. So I played strip Munchkin once. To be clear, it was only me and my husband. So this is not like in a group setting. This is not like I was playing with a group of people. This is like, husband, you and me only. We'll try it. It was kind of fun. I lost real bad, though. So. I think we did a rematch and I won, but I cannot remember. Strawberry Juice said strip Uno for the win. Yeah, it wasn't Uno, it was Munchkin. It's a card game that I own and love. But yeah, it was tons of fun. There we go. Alright, let's do another question. Alright, and the question is, name a gesture you find romantic. I don't know. When I think romantic gestures, I think, you know, the stereotypical things like, you know, flowers, chocolate, all that. But for me, a real romantic gesture is taking the time, like, coming up with something so unique and special to the person you're trying to do something for is so much more romantic. Like, my husband knows I'm not really a chocolate and flowers type person. So we went and got me a Subway sandwich. And I love that, so. Yeah, so for me, a real romantic gesture is just something that has a ton of thought put into it. Something that's so specifically for the person you're trying to do something for. Strawberry Juice says, I like when people remember little things from stories I tell them. It always makes me swoon. LOL. Nice. Oh, that actually reminds me. Do you still have that like little clay pot that you painted? Oh, what's his name? It's from Game Grumps. It's one of the two. I'm blanking on his name, but he's like painted on a little clay pot that you had a succulent in. I remember you were doing that in the class we had together. Do you still have that? Shooter Ghost says, sup, happy V-Day. Yeah, happy Valentine's Day to all you guys too. So today I'm talking about all my crushes, past romantic things. I have Valentine's Day themed Chickadoo questions. It's crazy. Strawberry Juice says, Danny, I don't anymore. I miss him. Make another one then. This is like, what? Let's see. 3 years down the line? Your art skills have improved. Make another! We're doing a doggo now. Hello, doggo. Let's find the 9, because there's only one of them. Found it. Boop. That is his tongue blip. 6s. Alright. Let's see if I can find the 4s. Alright. What should I do next? Should I answer another Chickadoo question or tell a story? Strawberry Juice says, okay, listen, I kept him for so long, but you're right, I should make another. Yeah, or, you know, you could update it. Do something new. Whatever is most relevant to your current interests. There's 2 more 5s in here. There they are. Shooter Ghost says, I had an app like this game. I know, these are so fun. Strawberry Juice says, tell a story. Alright, let's see. I'm just going to start from... Oh, actually, I have a question about that later. So let's do... Ooh, which one? Which one? Okay, so I'm going to start with the one that's the only story on my list that is not related to a crush. And so I did a tech class in high school that I absolutely loved. But one of the options for things we could do was we had a vacuum form machine, which is basically just a fancy way of saying we could make custom molds by putting an object on a tray, heating plastic, and molding it around it. And the vacuum form is the vacuum suck the air out from underneath. So it basically makes like a custom little mold. So I 3D printed and then made a custom mold of, not 3D printed, laser cut, and made a custom mold for a chocolate bar based on what me and one of my friends jokingly called Valentine's Day for a while, and that is Singles Awareness Day. The initials for that, very appropriately, is SAD, so sad. So we'd kind of jokingly call Valentine's Day Singles Awareness Day. And then we'd celebrate February 15th, the day all the chocolate goes on sale. So that's kind of my short story. Shooter Ghost says, could you turn the music down a little bit? Sure. I'll turn it down a little bit. Oh, come on. Close enough. Alright, I have turned it down some. Hopefully it was noticeable. I turned it down like 20%. So hopefully it is. Anyway, so I know that's not a super interesting story to start with, but it's the only one on the list that's not related to a crush or anything. So I figured I would do that one. I'm actually going to message that friend today and ask them if they still remember that. There's apparently 2 3s left in here somewhere, and I don't see them. I don't know where they are. I'll find them later. Alright. Let's do some 1s. Strawberry Juice says, I think I remember that OMG. You told me a bit about it at some point. Yeah. So I did that in high school. I know I'm missing a bunch of these, but it's just like, I'll color my way. Not coloring inside the lines. Well, I am, because I'm going to go back and fix it, but whatever. There's my doggo's face almost. Should I just color his face in? So you can see doggo face. When I first started this game, I was just clicking each square individually, and it was miserable. Alright, so I told a story. Let's do a few more questions, and then I'll tell another story. Alright, what's the next question? Who do you love, and what are you doing about it? Well, I answered a similar question earlier about how many people I love, and I said lots. So, I guess I'll go by category. For romantic love, so with my husband, I do my best to check in with him every once in a while. We check in with each other, kind of see like where our relationship's at, what things we each need to work on. My current thing I'm working on is often when I do something that I shouldn't, I don't verbally say sorry. It reflects in my actions. So I kind of like, I change my behavior, but I don't actually say that I'm sorry. So I'm working on actually saying that I'm sorry instead of just letting my actions show it. Because honestly, you need some of both. Because if you only say sorry, but your actions don't reflect it, it's like, well, they can't really have meant it. But if you never say it, you know, it's the same kind of thing. It's like, how do I know you're sorry if you're not saying it? It's like you don't. So I'm working on that. Familial love, I'm trying to stay in better contact with my family. Because I'm sure, like, it's probably weird for my parents that I got married at 18. I moved super far away. And so I'm trying to, like, call home more, which I'm not nailing, to be honest. But I hope my parents know that I appreciate them and my brothers. So I'm trying better. I'm trying to do better with that. But that should be easier this month because I have a bunch of birthdays in my family this month. So I'm going to call home for all of those. So I have one of my brothers, my mom's, my grandma. We have a friend that has a birthday, and my mother-in-law has her birthday. So yeah. Trying to stay in better touch with my family. And then friendship love, I try and check in with my friends when I can. Whenever someone messages me and needs to talk, I always make some time. So yeah, I'm doing my best. There's definitely lots of ways I can improve, but I don't think I'm doing horribly. So that's people I love and what I'm doing about it. Alright. Let's do another question. Let's see. Let's do this one first. Do you think the past matters in a relationship? I think it does. I don't think it completely matters. Because, you know, the past is in the past. You can't forever linger on things that happened already. But you can't just ignore the past, too. Like, if someone makes a mistake and really tries to do better and move on from it, that's great. And you should be able to move on from that. You shouldn't always linger on one mistake or a couple mistakes. But, you know, if someone continually treats you bad, sure, it's in the past, but if they show that they don't care enough to change, like if they show that, you know, say they care or they apologize, but in the past they've never changed, they've never made up for it, they've never done anything, then the past does matter. I think the past matters as an indication of the future. Like, the past is how we see if things are going to change and what things happen when certain things happen. We're gonna do a T-Rexy. Oh my goodness, so many colors in this guy. Alright, so let's do all the ones that just have one first. Oop. Actually, let me see what the next question is so I can be doing that while I color. Have you ever liked someone and not told them? Let me kind of look at my list. I only have one person on my list that applies with that, and I have a story about that later, but I'm going to save it. But yeah, I've had a couple times where that happens. Mostly when I was younger, though. As I got older, you know, especially like in high school, I really did try to tell people when I liked them. Because even if they didn't like me back, Like, it's so much easier to move on if you got to tell them. Because you don't have to sit there wondering, like, what would have happened had I gotten the courage to say something then? You know, and that wonder, it can kill you. It hurts. Like, just never knowing if something could have come from it. So again, I tried. I didn't always nail it, but there were some people that I told that I liked them and they didn't like me back. And some of them I'm still really good friends with. Like, the people that I liked and were good people, I'm still in touch with a bunch of them. Strawberry Juice says, I was a super closed off little kid, but as I got older, I started to be more blunt with my feelings. Yeah. So I tried to do that. Like I said, didn't always nail it. But I'm still friends with some people that I told I liked them. Strawberry Juice, I don't know if you remember, but at one point, I had a crush on Strawberry Juice, which I think they knew about. Do you remember that? Hopefully it's not just me that remembers that. That would be weird to be telling you now, but let's see. Strawberry Juice says, I absolutely do remember. Oh yeah, I never asked you, like, how did you take that? Because we never really talked about it much after. We stayed friends and we're still in touch, but Strawberry Juice says, I feel so bad about what my response was. Dude, I don't even remember how did you respond? I don't remember. Oop, color my little T-Rex. Strawberry Juice says, I sent you a shrug emoji. Oh my gosh. No, because the first time I told you was in person, actually. Because we were walking and we got close to your house and I ended up telling you. I didn't, like, directly say it. I was, like, 50% direct, 50% subtle. So did you just miss that time? Strawberry Juice says, I have no memory of that, OMG. Listen, I am completely oblivious. Oh my gosh. So you remember the time I told you online, and I don't remember that. I remember the time I told you in person, and you don't remember that. That's so funny. Yeah, no worries, my dude. Because we stayed friends after that. Like, that was near the beginning of when we were starting to be friends. So that was not long after we ended up in the same class. There's the 12 that I didn't see before. Bloop. But yeah. So the actual question was like, has there ever been a time you liked someone and didn't tell them? Strawberry Juice says, I definitely had a little crush on you, but I was in such a large relationship, so I didn't act on it at all. Yeah, no worries. Totally get it. And, you know, it's always hard to know how to act in certain situations. But hey, look, you know, I don't know. I felt better, like I told you, and you know, I didn't really expect anything to come of it, but it definitely helps so much to get stuff like that off your chest. Like, just in general, for anyone who ever has issues with that. It can be nice to get it off your chest. Yeah. Look at my little dinosaur. Ta-da! Dinosaur. Next is Totoro! Let me get out a few more chickadee questions. Blop. Let me get a few more. Nope. Okay. I keep bumping the mic stand because it's so close to my hand. It's just like, huh. And I keep forgetting you guys can't see it. It's like just out of frame. Alright. Gotta unroll all these questions. I don't know why I roll them up so tightly in the first place. It just makes it a pain to unroll them later. Alright. Taking forever to unroll these questions. But I am feeling entertained. Hopefully you guys find this entertaining. I was kind of like on the edge of like, you know, oh, should I do my normal thing? Just do Town of Salem? But I'm like, nah, it's a holiday. I want to do something special for a holiday. Because I keep meaning to do special holiday ones and then I don't. So it's just like... Also, I did get my full Slime Rancher series uploaded to YouTube. I had to wait like an extra day to upload the final part. Because you have to wait 24 hours after you live stream on Twitch once you're affiliate to post it somewhere else. But now it's all uploaded to YouTube, which means I can finally uninstall Slime Rancher and install some new games to try out to stream. Okay, one more question to unroll, and then I can start coloring Totoro. Yeah. Yeah, Strawberry Juice, I actually had no idea that at any point you had a crush on me. Had no clue. Alright, there we go. All unrolled. Alright. Hello, Totoro. Let's do the 8s first. Oh, and let me pick a question. Alright, favorite flower. My favorite flower used to be roses. But currently it's a carnation. I like carnations, especially the ones that are like multicolored. So it's like most of it is yellow and the tips are pink or something. Strawberry Juice says, yeah, I was dating so many people, so I never acted on it. Yeah, no worries. I understand. You had a lot going on then, too. Strawberry Juice says, I'm still emo as heck, so black roses are my favorite. I love black roses, but I don't know. I like something about carnations. I like looking at them. Like, it took me a while to realize, because I like roses and what they represent, and that they look cool, but I don't know. I realized that part of what I liked about them is it's related to my name. So it's like, I realized I was basically biased. So it's like, they weren't my favorite just because I liked them. So if I had to pick a favorite just based on like what they look like and how appealing they are to me, it's carnations. Strawberry Juice says, black roses paired with Easter lilies are so pretty. They are, honestly, though. Alright. Let's do this one. So the question is, kiss or hug? So, when I was getting ideas for these, that one, it didn't specify it meant, would you rather prefer to give or receive? Honestly, I'm more a hug person. Like, with my husband, like, I'd usually rather get a hug from him than a kiss. He's so warm. I'm more a hug person. Like a hug and cuddle person. Of course, part of that might be because my husband's like a big old teddy bear. I don't know. What about you guys? I've never actually seen this movie. I feel bad. I have so many movies to catch up on. My Netflix list is crazy long. Strawberry Juice says, I prefer a kiss to the cheek or a really tight hug where my feet leave the ground. I like to be lifted. That can be nice. Boop, boop, boop. Color. The music in this game is so relaxing. Alright. Let me do the last of this set of questions, and then I'll tell another story. Unless I can work one of them into these questions. We will see. Rawr. Come on, Totoro. We gotta color you. Alright. Let's see. Here's one. Is it more important to love or be loved? So I was thinking about this earlier, and I think it's more important to love. Because I think to be loved can feel good and make you feel valued. But, like, towards being a good person and making it so everyone likes to be loved. But if no one's giving love, no one gets that good feelings. But if everyone's giving love to the people they care about in their lives, it's just more love for everybody. I think it's more important to love. Rare color. You know what I just realized would be mortifying? There's a couple of people I liked but never told them, and I'm gonna tell stories about them during this stream. So, if they ever find my streams and watch them, that'll be an interesting way for them to find out. Hi, Totoro! Ooh, I can work one of my stories into this last question. That'll be nice. Arcade machine! Woot! I always like to start with the colors that have the fewest. Alright, so let's see what's the next question. What makes you feel cherished / appreciated? Alright. I think what makes me feel most cherished and appreciated is when people remember things that are important to me. And when I'm feeling bad or I have like a birthday or something, people remember the little things that I appreciate. So like, you know, I'm not the kind of person who necessarily wants or needs a big gesture. So like on my birthday, you know, going out to somewhere and getting like a $10 lunch at a place I like and then spending a day watching movies and getting a massage is going to mean a million times more to me than like getting a really expensive purse. It's like, I like it. Things don't have to be expensive for me. Often some of the best gifts and dates I've had were inexpensive, like under $20. Like the best date I've ever had with my husband, I think cost us $5. So what makes me feel appreciated and cherished is when people put a lot of thought into a gift or a note or something they say to me. You know, effort and thoughtfulness matters to me so much more. I know people where, you know, a really expensive gift would mean a lot more to them. But, I don't know, I'm the kind of person where knowing that I was really thought of, like that someone really carefully thought, what would this person appreciate? What would make their day easier? What would make them feel happy? Like, for example, my in-laws, every Christmas they get me a Christmas gift too. I feel mostly out of obligation, but I'd take it anyway. Last year they got me like an expensive coat, but it wasn't really a gift that was a lot of thought. It was like, you know, a coat's useful and it's a nice coat. And that was kind of it. But it didn't actually fit very well. Like, it fit most of me, but my hips were too wide. And so, you know, it didn't feel that great. But this year they got me a Lego set, which my husband did tell them that's something I would want. But I loved that so much more because it was something more personal to me. I love Legos. My family used to do Lego stuff all together. I used to have a ton of Lego sets. So that meant more to me just because it was, you know, more related to my interests. It would have meant more had they thought of it on their own, but yeah, whatever. Take what you can get, I guess. Yeah. Let me check one thing real quick. Okay. Strawberry Juice says, gifts with thoughts behind them are so nice. I know. See, I'm doing twos. Alright. I'm actually going to switch the order of these last two. Alright. Actually, I'm going to put that one in the next batch of questions. So this is the last question of this set I'm going to do, and then I'll unroll more. And this one has a story with it. So the question is, who was the first person you kissed? And so, actually, we'll tell the story behind this, but the first person I kissed, aside from, like, you know, my mom or my brothers, was my husband. Is the first person I've kissed, is the person I ended up marrying. So I really, like, I've only kissed or made out or done anything with one person. But the story is so funny. Actually, there's another question later that asks what my favorite part of my first kiss was. So I'll tell it later with that question. So I'll tell a different story now. Strawberry Juice says, I like when people send me pictures or whatever and say, this made me think of you. Dude, I do that all the time. Like, half of the communication I have with old friends from high school is like, I see a meme and I'm like, this meme, it reminds me of this person, and I send it to them. So that's why I send you a bunch of random stuff on Facebook. Because, like, I'm scrolling through, I see something and I'm like, oh, you know, Strawberry would like this. I'm going to send it to them. I do that a lot. But yeah. It's the first person I kissed. Strawberry Juice says, I know, it's great. It makes me so happy. Awesome. I will not stop doing it then, I guess. Alright. Alright. What was I going to do? Right, unroll more questions. Let's get some more. I was also going to tell a story, so I'll pick a story and tell it while I unroll these questions. Alright, let's see. Which one? Oh, here, I'll tell this one. So this is a good story. This is the story that I use to highlight why the advice I give people when they have crushes is to tell the person they have a crush on, even if they don't think they'll reciprocate. Okay. So there was a guy I liked for a bit in high school. And he's also bi. But we used to talk a lot when it was my junior year. Anyway, so any of you guys who follow my Town of Salem stuff, you know how my in-game username is Denizen of Darkness? This is the person that I came up with that username with. Because originally, I don't remember how it started, but I was the spawn of Satan, and I was trying to come up with an equal thing for them. So I'm like, okay, Denizen of Darkness. So we did this whole, like, pretend fantasy thing about, like, being co-rulers of hell. And this whole, like, basically text roleplay adventure battle against heaven. And that's what we did over the Thanksgiving break on Facebook when I got my wisdom teeth out. So my parents and family went to the coast, and I stayed home just because, you know, I didn't want to go to the coast and go to the restaurant for Thanksgiving dinner when all I could eat is mushy stuff. So I stayed home. I got the house to myself for a couple days. That's when we did that. So we talked a lot. Long story short, I ended up kind of slowly telling them that I liked them. And they did not like me back in that way. But it was the first time in a while I had completely told someone that I liked them. And even though they didn't feel the same way, I knew at least from then on we were on the same page and they knew. And it just made it so much easier. Because it didn't feel like I was hiding something or trying to convince them to like me. It's like, I knew they knew. They knew. We knew we didn't feel the same way, but it made it so much easier to move on. Because I never sat there wondering, like, oh, what if I had told them? Would something have come of it? I know the answer. The answer is no. But it made it so much easier to move on. I didn't have to sit there wondering. And we're still friends. We talk every once in a while. We don't, you know, we're not like best friends. We don't talk every day, but we still catch up even though it's been years. Yeah. So it's been great. So that's like the prime example story I use when I'm telling people, like, if you have a crush on someone, you don't have to, obviously, in a, you know, case-by-case basis. I highly recommend telling them. Because it can make it easier to move on. Acknowledging your feelings, and especially letting them know, so you don't have to wonder, makes it so much easier. Oh, and I'm bleeding. That's great. At least it's red, Valentine's Day themed. Coffee. Alright. Ooh, new questions. Alright. Strawberry Juice says, when I first met one of my friends, I had a huge crush on them and never told them. We became way better friends, and they eventually told me that when we first met, they also had a crush on me. We had a mutual crush and never told each other, and now we laugh about it. Yeah, I've had things with that, too. I actually have a friend that, for a while, we had a crush on each other and never told each other. Because we also didn't see each other that often. But, like, years down the line, when I was dating my first boyfriend, we were talking about it. And so from then on, we said if at any point we were both single at the same time, we'd give it a shot. And we never were. I ended up meeting Leo. We were dating, got married. So we actually never had a time we were both single. But it was nice to talk about and acknowledge that we knew it was fun to talk about. We're not super close. But it's nice that we, got that out. Never had to sit there wondering. Do you guys get the common theme so far? If you have a crush, tell them. Because especially, if you have a crush on someone, telling them can be a big personality revealer. Because, if you tell someone and they don't feel the same way, but they still take it well and treat you well, they still treat you like a friend, then you know they're a good person and they'll be a good friend to you. Or if they ever develop feelings for you, or you find out they have feelings for you, you know it's a good sign. Because if you tell someone that you have a crush on them and they take it badly, or they tease you or do anything like that, then you dodged a bullet, honestly. But yeah. Coffee. I don't know why I'm saying coffee like I'm excited. I don't like coffee. Yeah. Let's see, did I do one of these questions? I don't think I did. Okay. Let's pick a question. Ooh, here's one. Do you believe there's a perfect match for every person? I don't. Because for me, it's essentially asking, do you believe in soulmates? And I don't. I don't believe you have a predestined person and everyone has a certain predestined person that's perfect for them. I think it's just everyone is different. And it depends on where you grew up, who you grew up around. There's so many factors. But I think that most people can eventually find someone they're compatible with and can be happy with. If that makes sense. So not like a soulmates per se, but I think most people can find someone they can be happy with. And if everyone had a perfect match for themselves, there would be no reason for people to improve themselves. Because it's you already have a predestined match, basically. You're already guaranteed someone's gonna love you. It's no, we all have to work to be better people, both for ourselves and for other people. That's a common thing. In marriages, it's you constantly have to strive to better yourself, both for your own sake and for your partner's sake. And there's a reason for that. We're not perfect. We don't all have a perfect match. But I think for most people, it is attainable to find someone that makes you happy. If that makes sense. Hopefully it does. That would be unfortunate if it only made sense in my head. Weeb Fella says hi. Hello, how's it going? So yeah, this is my Valentine's Day stream. It's very chill, I'm just coloring. And we're talking about, we have Valentine's Day themed Chickadoo questions. You can ask Valentine's Day related questions, or really any questions so long as they're audience appropriate. Yeah, I'm gonna make sure to cover a bunch of old stories of my past romances and crushes. Which I don't have a ton. I haven't led the most adventurous dating life or anything. Because I've only dated 2 people and one of them I married. So. But I have some stories. Anyway. So let's see. I'll pick another Chickadoo question as soon as I finish these 17s. Alright. Next question. Let's do it. Here's one. Alright. Have you ever cheated on a partner? Nope. I haven't. I haven't considered it either, honestly. Because I don't know if it's just how I think about it, but I think having crushes at any point in your life is normal and healthy, even if you're already in a relationship. If that makes sense. Because, you can have a crush on multiple people at one time. But for me, it comes down to, I've had crushes on other people since I got married. But I love my husband. I'm committed to him. We work well together. And I understand that he's amazing for me. I love him so much. And that the crushes will pass. So I acknowledge the feelings. I realize, okay, I feel this way. It's perfectly valid. but I'm not going to act upon it. And it works for me. Strawberry Juice says, if you're going to cheat, just leave the relationship you're in my opinion. Yeah, I agree with that. So if you're cheating just because you want to be with another person, like, break up with the person you're with, both for your sake and theirs. Like, it's healthier. There's less hurt feelings. If you're cheating for, like, the adrenaline, find something else. River rafting, bungee jumping. If you're cheating for the sake of cheating, please don't date anyone. That's horrible. Weedfella says, that's obvious, I guess. Yeah. Or, you know, for some people, polyamory is an option. But that needs to be consensual on the part of all people involved. So that's not cheating, I guess. I guess that'd be, if you think you want to be with multiple people, it could be something to talk about with your partners. But that needs to be consensual on everyone's part. If it's not consensual on everyone's part, it is cheating. That seems to be a common misconception about what polyamory is. It's like, no, it's not just cheating. It's not just having a bunch of side people. That's not what it is. So yeah, polyamory could be an option to consider if that's the boat you're in. But yeah, it needs to be consensual on the part of everyone involved. So like if you're polyamorous and, you know, there's someone you're interested in, but they're not okay with it, they need to know. Everyone needs to be on the same page. Strawberry Juice says, as a polyam person, you've pretty much got it. You got to communicate. Yeah, because the big problem with, like, with relationships, romantic, friendship, sexual, all that, it's consent is the big thing. You know? That's the big thing. Like, not even just in relationships. Like, you know, if you're talking to someone and you know that they're uncomfortable being touched sometimes, you know, make sure to get their consent before hugging them. Like, you know, ask them if it's okay. Stuff like that. So it's like, I'm trying to build that habit of, like, if I'm talking to people and I don't know them as well, it's like, you know, can I hug you? I'm trying to build that habit of, like, especially when it's someone new or you know sometimes their boundaries are somewhere different than yours, you got to communicate. So that way you know if they're okay with what you're doing, vice versa. Weefel says, why would someone do that? There's no point. I'm not quite sure what you mean by there's no point. No point to what? I assume you're just referencing something I said a minute ago, but my thought process has already moved on, so I'm not quite sure what you're referring to. Sorry about that. If you would not mind clarifying, that would be awesome. Are there more 2s up here? There's some up here. But yeah, I don't even remember what the original question was. Oh, it was, have you ever cheated on a partner? So yeah, long story short, my answer is no, I haven't. I don't think I ever would either. Because, like, I very much accepted that if I ever got to a point where I liked someone else enough that I'd consider cheating on my husband with them, I'd talk to my husband. I'd be like, okay, here's how I'm feeling. Let's figure out how to handle it in a healthy manner. Yeah. And I don't know what that would be because I've never had that problem. But if it ever arose, I know that I would communicate. That would be the first step to figure out, make sure everyone's on the same page and figure out where to go from there. Weefel says, have multiple dates, that is pointless. Well, it is not pointless. Some people prefer that, some people don't. You know, it can be about having a bigger support system. It can be, you know, you're in love with more people than one at once. There are lots of reasons. You know, it's not a lifestyle that everyone would choose, but some people do choose it, and it's what they prefer, and that's fine. As long as it's consensual, I see no problem with it. Starbreaker says, a lot of the appeal of having multiple partners is because it's a bit odd, in my opinion, to expect one person to fulfill every need you have. That's a fair point, too. Because, like, if you have one partner who is great at listening, but they really don't like to be touched, they can't fulfill any physical affection needs you have, or at least not as easily. So if you have another partner who's like, they have a hard time listening, like they try, but they're not as good, but they love to cuddle, then, having a whole support system means everyone can support each other, you can have all your needs met, and it's not, it can be hard for one person to meet all or most of your needs. It can be stressful. Because an individual has a lot of needs. They need people to talk to. They need physical touch. They want to spend time with people. One person needs a lot of little things. And so it'd be very hard to find one person who can fulfill all of your needs the way you need them to be fulfilled. So yeah, I find polyamory a very interesting lifestyle. I think it's definitely something I would consider, although my husband would not. So we've realized, that's never going to be for us. But I think for a lot of people, it is a great option. There's only 111. How on earth am I going to find it? I might have to find it later when I've colored a few more things in. Alright. I'm going to start with the 3s then. Boop, 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 boop. Alright, let's do another question. Alright. Let's do this one. So the question is, what do wedding rings mean to you? Honestly, to me, they don't mean a lot. That's very much reflected in the fact that I don't have one. For multiple reasons, honestly. They're expensive. That's a big reason. Another being, like, we had one, my mother-in-law took it. It's a long, frustrating story. But, for some people, it's great. It's a way to let people know that they're married. It's, like, a financial commitment. It very much, especially if you already like jewelry, it very much adds to the appeal of a proposal. It can be very meaningful. It's mostly symbolic. So I think wedding rings to me are a symbol of being married. I don't think it's a necessary one. I think it's up to individual couples to figure that out. That's kind of my opinion. Strawberry Juice says, I would like to have one just as a visual reminder. Like, I don't need a super fancy one, but it'd be nice to see a visual representation of my commitment to one or more people. Yeah. So, like, after my mother-in-law took the ring we had, my husband and I, see, I'm doing 7s, got, like, a really cheap ring. It was, like, $8. And it looked kind of nice. It was a style I kind of liked that I wore for a while. Jewelry kind of irritates my fingers a bit. Like, makes them hurt. So I didn't wear it a lot. But yeah, the visual reminder is kind of nice. Yeah, so yeah, it's individual tastes. For me, it's not as important, but I understand that it's a symbol, and for a lot of people, it means a lot. So, that is my take on it. Let's see, I'm gonna decide what order to do these in. Alright, let's do this one next. Alright. Ooh, okay, I'll do one more, and then I'm gonna tell another story. Alright, how would you describe unconditional love? For me, unconditional love is, it's when you care about someone so much that no matter how inconvenient, no matter how frustrated you are, or how mad you are, or how tired you are, you're willing to help them. You're willing to do what you can for that person. And you can see unconditional love in a lot of ways. Like, you know, I saw it in my mom. She had unconditional love for me and my brothers. You know, Didn't matter if it was the middle of the night, she had 3 places to go the next day and was exhausted. If one of us started, crying because we were sick, she'd be the one to get up and run grab us a bowl or to help us clean up if we threw up in the middle of the night. Like, that's unconditional love. When, at least to our faces, she never complained about doing those kind of things for us, even though I know it must have been inconvenient for her. But that's unconditional love. Unconditional love is my husband. When I was in the hospital for a few days, he didn't go home to sleep. He slept on the floor in my hospital room so I'd never be alone. That's unconditional love. Unconditional love is no matter what, you want to do everything you can to help this person. Weebella says, okay, so Valentine's Day today or tomorrow, I don't keep track of what it is. It's a small thing here. And yeah, it's today. But yeah, for me, that's unconditional love. An unconditional love, I think a lot of people associate it with, like, a mother's love for her children, or, like, a partner's love for their partner. But I feel like it can exist in friendships, too. Because, like, I have friends that, if they needed help, if they needed someone to listen, I'd drop whatever I had to talk to them. I've had friends where I would stay up all night, pull an all-nighter, even when I was tired, to talk to them if they needed it. Like, I've done that before. So I think unconditional love can exist in a lot of ways. And also, we need to normalize, like, friendship love having some of the same things as romantic love, like in being supportive and listening, all this stuff, because a lot of that we associate just with, romantic or familial love. And it's like, no. It is part of all of the love. Weefella says, well, it's past here. 12 p.m. Strawberry Juice says Valentine's Day is February 14th. Yeah. So yeah, that is my take on unconditional love. Excuse me. This is gonna be the cutest little milkshake. Oh, bloop. Alright, let's do the next question. Actually, I was gonna tell a story. Alright, which one do I want to tell next? Let's do this one. Okay. So, this was so awkward. So one time I was over at some of my best friend's house. I was over for a sleepover, and so we were downstairs kind of jokingly playing Truth or Dare with their older brother, them, so it's 2 sisters that I was really good friends with, and their dad was there. So we were playing, and it got to the point of the dad asked me a question. They asked me because at this point they knew I was bi. He asked me which of his 2 daughters I found more attractive. Which one is a super weird question to ask, but it gave me an opportunity. So I said, well, I find well, I have a crush on so-and-so, so her. And that was how she found out I had a crush on her, which is such an awkward way to find out, I'm sure. And so it was like, yeah, that was awkward. Because they ended up, like, kind of freaking out, and, like, the 2 sisters and the brother went upstairs for a little bit. Then they came back down. I think we actually kept playing for a little bit, but I'm sure that was a weird way for them to find out. I probably should ask, because I've never actually really followed up on that. But it's like, yeah. So, I'm sure she found that awkward. But yeah. She knew I had a crush on her then. It was still fine. We were still great friends. We didn't talk about it anymore. But then she knew. I didn't have to wonder if she knew. But yeah, I felt like she took it fine. Alright, let me get this last little row, and then I'll read another question. So I'm gonna keep alternating between questions and stories. I'll try and work in stories when I can, so I don't always have to take a break for a story. Alright, let's see. Would you rather be in a bad relationship for the rest of your life, or have no significant other for the rest of your life? I would much rather have no significant other than be in a bad relationship. Because, like, a bad relationship will make you miserable, and you may be sad or lonely in no relationship. But I'd rather be a little sad or a little lonely and have to rely on, like, friends and family for companionship than be in a relationship that makes me miserable. Because, you know, what's the point in having something just to have something? You want to have something good. You know? I know some people would choose to be in a bad relationship than have no significant other, and that is very much a personal choice. Because it might be that for them, loneliness is worse than a bad relationship. But I think for me, being in a bad relationship would be worse, personally. Yoop. Is that not cute as heck? Excuse me. Alright. Let's do this one. And the question is, what would you do if you fell out of love? So I was asking my husband this question this morning, and he was like, couldn't even imagine it. And I'm like, well, yeah, that's not the point, though. The point is just like, what would you do if that happened? So I was thinking about it. I was like, what would happen if I fell out of love with my husband? So I decided I would communicate with him. I'd tell him how I felt. And then I think I'd try, like, marriage counseling. Like, see if we could figure out what happened to repair the relationship. You know, I wouldn't want to just jump ship immediately. Be like, I want to try and figure it out. If we find out, you know, there really is no way to fix it, then I'd have to consider other options, but I want to try and fix it first. 13s. Bloop, bloop. Bloop. Alright, more 13s. Perfect. What about you guys? Do you guys have any thoughts on this particular matter? There's gotta be some more 13s in here somewhere. 13s. 13s. I know there's gotta be a few more. It says there's 3 more. Oh. Boop. There they are. Strawberry Juice says, the idea of falling out of love is a bit frightening. I know. I was thinking about it. I was thinking about, like, in context with my husband, what would happen. And I'm like, that is sad. I don't want to think about it. But, you know, I was just trying to think, like, you know, I love him now. So I'm thinking, if I fell out of love, if I lost this love I had now, wouldn't I want it back? Wouldn't I want to feel like this again? Wouldn't I be willing to work to find a way to repair it? And so I'm like, yeah. So I was trying to think, okay, if I was in that position, what would be the best thing to do to fix it? And so that's kind of what got me to the, you know, tell him what's going on and then marriage counseling. Weepo says, all my thoughts are, let me wait 3 years to fall in first. You never know when it's going to hit you. That was a big thing with my husband. By my senior year of high school, I was basically in the head of space of, I dated one person. You know, that's probably good till college. I'll go get my degree and then I'll start dating. And then I'll figure out what to do from there. But no. Comes out of the blue. I was such a just strictly logical person. I didn't like to address my emotions as much. You know, I had a life plan that made sense. And then here came this dorky Salvadorian kid out of nowhere. Swept me off my feet. made me forget reason, and, you know, even though my life is not even sort of where I thought it would be at this point, I don't regret it. You know, once I was ready to make that leap to get married to him, I didn't look back. That was a big sign for me. I was always so nervous. Making any big decisions filled me with so much anxiety. You know, picking a college, picking a major, you know, anything like that. What made me realize is when I was with him, making big decisions wasn't as scary. And deciding to marry him was the first big decision I made that I didn't regret. I never looked back. It was the first big decision I made where I never once went back and thought, I wish I had tried something else. I wish I had done that differently. So for me, that was a big sign. I was so sure I wasn't going to date anymore in high school because I was thinking, oh, by the time I am dating them, I'll have to go to college soon. I'm going to school out of state. I'll be moving. I won't see them. We'd have to break up or do long distance. I was so sure. Weepfall says, not happening too soon, I hope. Yeah, it's always nice when you have a plan and you stick to it, but I don't know. Sometimes to find happiness, you have to let your heart make some of the decisions. Not entirely. I had to use my head too. I had to figure out what's the best way to do this. But had I only listened to my head, I would have lost the fantastic person I'm with. And I'm glad I didn't. There are the other 11s. They were hiding. Alright. So yeah, I was the kind of person who was thinking, oh, I'll get married in maybe my late 20s or my early 30s. And I got married at 18. I would never have predicted that happening. And I'm sure my parents were shocked. But, yeah. Life just gets crazy on you sometimes. Weepfella says, yo, I gotta stick on my 2+2s right now. I have no idea what you mean by that, my dude. Alright, time to unroll some new Chickadoo questions. Let's see. Alright. I think I'm on track for being able to work in all my old Valentine's Day and crush stories. Got a few of them down already. Got some more Chickadoo questions. It's gonna be great. You guys are gonna hear about all sorts of stories. There's some that I'm definitely saving because they're a little embarrassing or weird, but we will get to them, I swear. Weepfella says, it means that I'm still in 5th grade. Ah. Unrolling the questions. Yeah, that's definitely a bit early. Alright. And the question is, when is love a weakness? I'd say it's a weakness when the first thing that comes to mind is when you're in an abusive relationship. Because if you love someone, you're often willing to tolerate more from them than you would from other people. But some people take advantage of this. So I'd say it's a weakness when you're allowing someone you care for to treat you or others much worse than is acceptable. And that's hard. That can be hard if you love someone and they start treating you worse, or you start to realize they weren't as good a person as you thought. But that's the only time I can think of. People says, but I can't understand something. People my age in the US or some places like that should be in, kind of go out of school too early, should be in 7th grade. I don't quite know what you mean by that. gonna do another question real quick. And the question is, what color is love? And I would be curious to hear what you guys have to say for this one. When I wrote this question down, I'm gonna say the first color that came to mind is purple, like a light purple. The reason I say a light purple is when my husband and I started buying all our bed sheets together after we got married, we, without realizing, bought multiple different things, but we bought them all purple. And slowly over time, we started to realize, no, you can still explain. I was just doing the question so you had time to type or reword it. Said Red. We realized we bought so many sheets and everything. Coincidentally, we bought and got so many things that are purple. And so purple for us has become like this color that we use all the time. And the fun thing that took us way too long to realize is my favorite color is blue, his favorite color is red. All the things we bought together are purple. So we don't know if it was a subconscious decision or if just the particular items we chose, purple was the color they came in. But purple is the mix of our favorite colors, and it happens to be the color of most of the stuff we bought together. So when we have a lot of color options for things we're buying, we tend to go towards purple. So for me, when I think of love, I think of purple. Oops says generic, I know. Well, yeah, and there's a reason for that. You know, red is associated with love and Valentine's Day. So saying red isn't bad. It just means you, for good reason, also associate that color with love. But yeah, for me it's purple, and it's just because of that particular scenario. Ooh, let's do fives next. There's not a lot. Or maybe that's a bad reason to do fives next. I don't know. I'm also kind of starting to lean away from the mic, which I'm not meaning to do. Okay, fives are being a little harder to find than I thought. Which I guess is fair. There's not very many of them. Oh, there's one. Fives. I know there's a few more. How many? Two more? I might find them a little bit later. Let's do sixes for now. Get these out of the way. Because it seems like a lot of the fives are by the sixes, so maybe if I get the sixes out of the way, it'll be easier to find the fives. Reflex says, just because I see it around love, that's why. Yeah, makes sense. Lots of coloring. This is very relaxing. I don't know how much you guys are enjoying this stream. I feel like it's a kind of fun, very different from my normal stuff to do stream for Valentine's Day, but I don't know. How do you guys feel about it? More sixes. I know there gotta be more sixes in here. Sixes. Oh, here's somewhere. Says there's 3 left. They could be anywhere. B Plus says, no, this is actually entertaining. Awesome. That is good to hear. Alright. There's one of them. Might do another color for a bit. Let's see, what is the next question? And the question is, have any of your exes ever told you they regret breaking up? No. So I only have one ex, and I will actually talk about that in more detail a little bit later. So if you want to hear the story of the only ex I have, I will be telling about that. I don't have anything bad to say about them, honestly. So it wasn't like they were a horrible person and I broke up with them. It was just like they called things off. You know, they didn't tell me they regret breaking up. They didn't even really give me a solid reason why we broke up. Might have just been things were going really slow for them. So it was a 6-month relationship and we held hands, but we never kissed or anything. It was just me. I am nervous. I had never dated before. So I had never been on a date before. So if I had to guess why they broke it off, that would be why. But yeah, we never talked about it a ton. They never told me they regretted it. I haven't actually talked to them much recently. I tried to catch up with them a few times. But yeah, we haven't been in touch for a while. If they ever message me, I'm happy to talk to them still. Like, it's not like I hold a grudge. I'm not upset or anything. It's just like, you know, oh, people move on. It happens. So yeah, none of my one ex has never told me they regret breaking up. I wish them the absolute best though. Like, honestly, if they ever watch this stream or anything, I wish you the best. I hope your life is going wonderfully and you are surrounded by people that make you happy and you are finding success, whatever that means to you. Success means different things to everybody. Some people it means money, some people it means happiness, some people it means a good relationship. So yeah, I hope whatever success means to them, they have found it. Or that they're on a path to reach it. But yeah. Let me check one thing. Alright. I don't know where the other 2 is. Alright, so there's a 2 that I don't know where it is, and there's a few 6s somewhere. The other 2 down here. Yeah, I don't know where it is. I'll find it later. Alright. Which has the next least? 3s? Let's do 4s, because they're the only, like, kind of orangey one left. Alright. Let me actually take a look, see what the next question is. So I can answer that while I color in a ridiculous amount of 4s. Most memorable date. This is easy. And this is, I don't know if you guys remember earlier, I was talking about how some of my most memorable dates were not expensive. So this is the one I pointed out where my most memorable date probably cost us $5. What we did is he came and picked me up. And we went to a little coffee place. I got a hot chocolate, he got a coffee. And then we drove to my elementary school, the parking lot, because this is like in the evening. So, and I think it was in the summer too, so it's like nobody there. And the car he had then had a sunroof. So we opened the sunroof, we sat on the roof of his car, and we drank our drinks together while watching the sunset. And we talked, and we sat together. And it wasn't crazy. It wasn't like it was an expensive date. We didn't go anywhere new. We had been there before. But it was such a simple, happy moment. To this day, we both agree it's the best date we've ever had. And so for us, it meant a lot. If we're really sad, if things aren't going well, if we just have a few bucks and want to have a great night together. Sometimes we go just grab hot chocolate together. And remember that amazing date we had. Remember how we felt about each other after. Happiness can be found in the smallest things. I will always remember that date. Because it was so simple. My husband knows that. There was one time I had like a month of, I was just mentally so bad. I was so depressed. And this is before I was as active in Twitch. I had like no scheduled thing in my life. I didn't have a lot of purpose. And so what he did is he sent me a message saying, get your clothes on. This was in winter, so it was snowy outside. He said, get your clothes on. I'm going to take you somewhere when I get home. So he was at work. And so he got home. He picked me up. He grabbed a couple things, told me not to look, and then we went somewhere. He had gotten hot chocolate, grabbed a few blankets, And we went to a park with some walking trails. And we went walking on these paths in the snow together. We were drinking our hot chocolate. We walked the paths. We talked. And we got back to the car around when the sun was setting. And it meant so much to me because it was back to that simpler time. It was a reference to that. It was calm. We spent just some pure time together. So yeah. What was the original question? Most memorable date. So it's definitely that first time where we sat on the car with hot chocolate together. Weepflow says that sick feeling comes and goes, except if it is depression, long and hard way. Yeah, and I've dealt with that a lot. So I'm usually not too bad at dealing with it. It's just this time was much rougher than usual. It was much longer and consistent than I usually have. I'll usually have like a bad day or a few really bad days. This was like a bad month. Solid. So it's just, you know, it comes and goes in waves, but this was like a much longer wave. And I appreciate that he did that because it was a little thing that meant a lot. Every time I do this octopus, I think it has such the derpiest head. But yeah. Just check one thing. Alright. Sorry, I gotta pull one thing up. Excuse me. What is... Sorry. My Chromebook is lagging. Chromebook, stop. Alright, here we go. Alright, give my fingers like a break. And then, alright, on to the next question. And the next question is, what is your love language? So, that basically means like, how do you express love, and how do you like love expressed to you? So for me and my husband, it's very different. For me, I appreciate like thoughtful gestures and like physical affection the most. So like, you know, getting me my favorite hot chocolate and then coming home and giving me cuddles. That's like, makes my day. For him, it's more like words of affirmation, like me reminding him that I love him, me telling him what I appreciate. Saying thank you when I appreciate things. Saying sorry when I am. So we're very different like that. Alright, let's keep going. If I run out of these, I might have to like go do a different one. Alright. Kern. Which do I want to do next? We'll just keep going in order. Alright, let me unroll some more Chickadoo questions. Let's see, how many do I have left? Ooh, I gotta get through more of these stories. Because I'm gonna run out of Chickadoo questions before I run out of stories. Alright, let me see, because I have a few more stories that I'm saving for specific questions. So let me see how many I get through with the questions, and then at the end, if I haven't told all my stories yet, I'll tell stories. Does that sound good? And we'll see. I'll try and get through this whole just the first book of coloring. So I don't want to do a million coloring things because it actually makes my hands hurt. Boop. Oh, I pulled too many questions out. So yeah, sorry guys, just taking a second to unroll questions. But yeah, for all of you who is, depending on time zones, I guess some of you over in Europe or Asia, it is not Valentine's Day for you anymore. But for those of you for whom it is still Valentine's Day, I hope you have a wonderful Valentine's Day. For those of you for whom it has passed, I hope your Valentine's Day went well, or at the very least didn't go badly. Or if it went badly, I hope your following days go better. So many questions. All right, unroll. All right. I'm gonna change how I'm sitting in this chair so I'm a little more comfortable. All right. Weefla says, feeling that sick thing, but way weirder. Not sad, almost nostalgic, like deja vu, because I prevented around 3 events that got me bad things, but the situations were quite idiotic. Ah, gotcha. All right. Yeah. Or, oh. Yeah, I got you. I understood what you meant, at least. All right. This will be a fun one. What is the best thing about marriage? So, I jokingly wrote down, you have a permanent sleepover buddy, which, you know, is not wholly untrue. You know, think about it. You know, you have someone you can talk to late at night when you want to. You have someone you can goof off with all the time. You know, if your marriage is great, it should be like you're marrying your best friend, which for me, that's what it was. So it's like, we goof off, we have fun, but we can support each other through thick and thin. So I'd say the best thing about marriage is you have someone who is always there to support you. Which I think is great. You have someone there always keeping an eye out for you. So like for my husband, you know, I do my best to think about what's going to help him. You know, I don't always nail it. I'm working on it. I'm trying my best. So I try and, you know, do little things like, you know, oh, he had a really rough day at work. Let me wash all the dishes for him so his mom doesn't get on his case when he gets home. And he can just relax. Stuff like that. And he does stuff like that for me. Corn. This is such a weird one. I don't know why someone decided corn would be a great thing to color. Let's do 5s, because that has the least. But yeah. So yeah, it's probably going to be good timing to finish up the questions and to finish the stories up. Because I can already feel my voice kind of going. I am a little sick. Like, everyone else in the house is sick. So me getting sick is basically inevitable. But we'll see how it goes. Maybe I'll get lucky. I'm kind of kidding, though. I'm already sick a little bit. It's not too bad yet, though. So that's why I'm not, you know, didn't cancel my stream or anything. My husband is sick, too, though. He's much more sick right now than I am. So I'm trying to take care of him. Alright. Oh. This question I put in here because I read it and I thought it was so dumb. So I'm going to read it and then I'll explain why I think it's dumb. The question is, do you think men and women can be platonic friends? And, like, in my mind at least, the answer is an obvious yes. They can be. Weebella says, I want to ask you something about hospitals. Go for it. I'll finish answering what I was saying. So go ahead and type it out, and as soon as I'm done, I will answer it. But what was I saying? Right. Men and women totally can be platonic friends. It's weird to think the only people I've met who think that they can't be is like really straight people. Not all straight people, but like I've never met someone who was like in the LGBT community who thought men and women can't be friends. It's just such an odd thing to believe because it's like, I don't know. Is it just because, like, men and women can be attracted to each other? Like, does that mean guys who are gay can't have guy friends? It makes no sense. Men and women can be platonic friends. Weefella says, so here in Romania, the hospitals are something you are afraid of because if you go there trying to solve an illness, you get another one just because of how bad they are. Oh, yikes. Okay, so I follow so far. I don't see what the question is, though. Although I assume you're still typing. Goodfellow says, are they like that everywhere else? I would say no. At least not in places I've been. So in the States, it's expensive, but you typically get good care. Most people aren't afraid to go to the hospital. In Canada, it's similar to the States quality-wise, where you get good care, but it's a little less expensive. So, like, when I went to the hospital, the only thing I was worried about was getting the bill. I was worried about the cost a little bit. But I've never, like, picked up any other illness, even a minor one, from a trip to the hospital. By an illness, I mean, like, a worse cold. Yeah. So I haven't even, like, picked up a cold from a hospital, I don't think. Because they're typically very sterile here, just to prevent stuff like that. So yeah, I haven't heard of anything like that. And I've been to the hospital a few different times in my life, mostly in the States, but once in Canada, and I haven't had any issues. Yeah. My mouth is so dry. Alright. Let's see. Here's one. Would you rather stay in or go out for a date? I know lots of people prefer to go out. I prefer to stay in, honestly. I'm more like, let's stay at home, watch a movie, and cuddle, or make a special meal than a go out person. I like going out every once in a while, but on average, I'd rather stay home. I'm very much a stay home kind of person. I don't leave the house much, honestly. I should leave more. It's not healthy for me to just stay cooped up in the basement all the time. But Buffalo says, I got born, right? I got born and got a bad eye situation. It spread to half my family. I'll just say it in Romanian and hope you can relate. That spelling looks familiar, but I don't know exactly what it is. But yeah, that's unfortunate. Cause like over here where we're at in like the States and Canada, especially in Canada, like that kind of thing would be very uncommon. Cause especially with babies, it's like, you know, you take especially good care of them because their immune systems are not ready to cope with much yet. Gonna switch and do 4 next. Weebflow says, I'm a translate. Be right back. Alright, no worries. Meanwhile, I'm going to continue on with questions. Alright. The majestic corn. Alright, let's see. And the question is, Have you ever worn special clothes to cover a hickey? I have once. And the one occasion was back when my husband and I were still dating, and we were still... I think that this was the summer between high school and when I left for college. You know, I was very particular about, you know, don't leave a hickey where, like, my parents are gonna see it. And he never did it much, because I didn't, you know, it wasn't my favorite thing. But he did it one time, and he did it right, like, high enough on my neck that I didn't have any shirts I could really wear to cover it. But it was, like, on a Friday, so it was right before a weekend. And so I was able to, like, wear my bathrobe mostly at home and just kind of say I was cold. And I don't think my parents noticed. They may have. But since it was a weekend, I spent most of my time in my room anyway. So maybe they didn't notice. I don't know. But so I had the one time I wore clothing to cover a hickey. But nowadays I spend so much time just downstairs in the basement, I don't really need to hide hickeys if I get them, which is not often. So yeah. Conjunctivis. Definitely pronounced that wrong, but yeah, that's like, it sounds familiar. I'm not quite sure what it is, but it does sound really familiar. Is that right? It looks right. It sounds familiar, but I might have to look it up later just to see. Carn. Alright. Let me finish doing this outline thing, and then I'll get the twos done, and then I'll finish with the ones. Alright, now I can do twos. Viva says, also I wore glasses since I was 5, so I guess it was there for good. Aw, I'm sorry. I also wear glasses sometimes. I'm kind of stubborn. My eyesight's not bad enough that I need them most of the time. So I have to wear my glasses when I drive and to see things very far away. But most of the time I'm okay without them. But I used to also wear my glasses during streams more, but I ended up moving things around so I can just see better and don't need them. Have you guys even seen my glasses recently? Here, I'll put on my glasses for a minute so you guys can see them. Oh, tons of glare. That's why I didn't want to wear them during stream anymore. But yeah. You guys can kind of see my glasses. And all the glare that comes off them. Can I do anything to, like, block the glare? Not without blocking my face. Alright. Cool. Yeah, I have glasses too. I just don't wear them unless I need them. Weefla says, I wear them all the time except for sleeping. Nice. Yeah, my dad has that. One of my brothers has glasses, but I don't know. He wears them most of the time as far as I know. I don't think I've seen him go very long without wearing them for a while. Block. Alright, I should read another question so I have something to say during these. Alright, and the question is, do you believe love can pull you through anything? I do not. I think love can help you through a lot. I don't think it can get you through anything, though. For example, I don't think it can get you through an abusive relationship, like a bad relationship. I don't think love is enough to save a relationship alone. A lot goes into a relationship. You need communication, you need compromise and understanding. So love alone cannot get you through anything. But paired with other things, I think it can get you through most things. Weeflaw says, because I need them. I can't see from like a 4 meters distance without all being blurry. Yeah, my vision gets pretty bad the further away you go. So that's why I am legally required to wear them while driving. Because otherwise there's no guarantee I can read, like, street signs and stuff. But since most of the day I'm, like, at the computer or reading a book, doing stuff close enough to me that I don't need them, I don't wear them a ton. Alright. Let me finish this little section of ones and then I'll unroll some more Chickadoo questions. Because we've got some more Chickadoo questions and then some more stories. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Cool. Alright, so we've got maybe 2 more sections worth of Chickadoo questions. And then some more stories to tell. And I think I can work a couple of these stories into some of the questions. I've just been waiting for the particular questions to come up. I know, I'm sorry guys, it takes so long to unroll these. Phil says, when I was little I got this sun protection thing when your glasses go dark when facing the sun. Oh yeah, my dad has those on one pair of his glasses. He has a couple pairs. He actually has one for just normal use and then one for the computer, for when he's at the computer. And they're different strength prescriptions. Phil says, and all the kids were like, whoa, sunglasses that are transforming. That's fantastic. Boop. Alright. Alright. Let me pick a question. Get reading. Alright. And the question is, what about marriage were you not expecting? Well, that's easy. I was talking to my husband about this one earlier, actually. And what I said is what surprised me was how unsurprising it was. It wasn't a big transition from just dating my husband to being married to him. It felt very similar. So my big surprise was how not different it felt. Mortal Creature says, hello, how are you? I'm doing good. How are you doing? Bella says, and I got called RoboCop once. Nice. So yeah, Mortal Creature, you just got here, but today's stream theme is Valentine's Day, because depending on time zone, it might not be Valentine's Day for you anymore, but for me, it is. So all the questions are Valentine's Day themed, and we colored in a corn. What's next? A book with 43 colors. Great. Alright, well, I see a bunch of ones over here. Alright. Alright. And what shall the next question be? Let me check one thing. Alright. Mortal Creature says, I'm sick and I learned that I have a viral infection that is not bacterial. That's unfortunate. I'm sorry. Hope you feel better soon. Oh, this has such a great story behind it. Okay, I'm going to read this question. Have you ever had your heart broken? I'm going to say yes. The time that comes to mind is actually a story with my husband. For those of you who don't know, there was a period of time where we were long distance, and it was not great. It did not go well most of the time. The distance was hard for us. It really was. So after he came to visit during my fall break, he ended up, like, only a week later moving to Utah where I was. And so we were both living in the same city. And we argued so much. And a lot of that just stemmed from, it was hard for him to find work. He wasn't able to get health care. And so it got to a point where we would fight so much. It was so stressful. And it got to a point in one argument where sometimes he'd kind of threaten to leave. Like he'd go move to Canada where his parents were and stay there. And it got to a point where I realized it's not healthy for him to be living here. He doesn't have any health care. I knew he had health care in Canada. It'd be easier for him to find a job. It'd be easier for him to have a good place to live. And so I realized that he would be so much better off if he left me and went to Canada. And so during this argument, I realized normally I'd try and patch things up. But during this one, I was just being stubborn. I wouldn't apologize. I wouldn't do anything. Because in my head, I was basically thinking, if he gets mad enough, he'll break up with me and he'll leave. And he'll go somewhere where he can get the health care and everything he needs. And so it finally happened. He said we were done. He had some things at my dorm, and that's where this argument took place. So he started grabbing his things. He was picking up his wallet, a few of his miscellaneous things he had there. And I was basically standing there, doing my best to not let any emotion show, to just be stubborn, so he'd go. Because in my mind, that was the best thing for him, to leave. And so, I'm standing there, I'm trying not to show any emotion, because in my head, I'm like, this is it, he's leaving. I care for him so much. He should leave. I didn't want to do anything. I wanted to make him think I didn't care and that he should go. And so it got to the point where I'm watching him grab his stuff. And I swear I was so close to crying this whole time. Because in my head I'm like, I'm losing him, but I know I need to. I know he needs to go somewhere else where he can actually be cared for. And so he's grabbing all his stuff. He's got all this stuff. It doesn't take long because he only had a little bit of stuff there. He's about ready to walk out the door. And as he's about ready to walk out the door, he hesitates. And he said, I forgot the most important thing. And I'm kind of looking at him because I'm like, I saw him pick up all his important stuff. So I'm thinking, oh, did he leave his ID card somewhere or something? And he turns around, he walks back, and he picks me up and starts carrying me towards the door. Because in that moment, he realized he didn't want to leave. And that's when the floodgates let loose. When he first said he was going to go, I was so heartbroken. But the only reason I didn't try and stop him is I knew it'd be better for him to go. But this moment he came back and just picked me up, and we wouldn't let go, I was crying my eyes out. And that's when we really started making a big effort to work on our relationship, our communication skills, because that was the moment we realized things are hard, things are not good with us right now, but we cared about each other so much and we wanted to fix them. We didn't want to give up. So from that point on, we worked on our relationship. We read a lot about how to develop better communication skills. We took the time, we put the effort in. And you look where we are today, we're married. So obviously, it was worth it. Sorry, I missed chat while I was telling the story. Weefaw says, yes, I sat on my tablet with my hot chocolate in my hand, and it burned, so I had to do something. Of course, I sit on it accidentally, and I broke it. Yikes. That's not good. But yeah. That was the time I had my heart broken. It was only for... That whole thing probably happened in 10 minutes. But it felt like so much longer. It was so emotional. But that shows how much we cared about each other. At that moment, we realized we didn't want to be apart. And so we put the effort in. We fixed our relationship up. Alright. Mortal Kucher says, Sushi, you're gonna make me cry and it's Valentine's Day. I know, but that story, like, that was the most heartbreaking thing I've ever experienced. Mortal Kucher says, by the way, happy Valentine's Day. Thank you. You too. But it's just like, that. I think that's the most I've cried from happiness ever. It's just like, I didn't know how to handle all the emotions. So many feels, but do not know how to handle. All right, let me look. Let's find a happy one. All right, let's do this one. All right. And the question is, what's the number one thing you think makes relationships last? I would say, without a doubt, good communication. Without good communication, relationships do not work. My husband and I, we learned that the hard way. We had so many communication issues for a while. That was the big thing we had to work on when we realized we want to stay together, but things right now are not working. And it pretty much all came down to we were not communicating very well. So that's what we had to work on to make our relationship work. Totally worth it. Worth every bit of effort we put into it. I see some more 22s. There they are. But they're all kind of up in here. So without a doubt, communication. Are there more 22s in here? Well, there's 11 more somewhere. Let's see. These are all 29s. 22s. There's some 23s. Okay. Oh, here's some more 23s. How many are left? One. Oh, there it is. Nice. Alright. Let's do another question. Do you believe in love at first sight? I don't. But my husband does, actually. Because he says he fell in love with me at first sight. So he uses that as his evidence for love at first sight. But yeah. Which is adorable. I do not believe in love at first sight, but it is a nice gesture. Because for me, it's like, I fell in love with someone's personality first. And when you first see one, you don't know their personality. When you first see someone, you don't know their personality. So it's like, it doesn't work. But everyone's opinions differ on that. Let's see what color next. It's 26. 26 has a lot, but it's like yellow. Alright. Oh, this is the glasses. Okay, so here are the glasses. What is this then? It's something just on the book, I think? Oh, it's the... where it has book written, I think. Maybe? Let's see. Let's see what it says. Any more 26s? There's one. Alright, what's 27? It's like a dark red. This is going to differentiate these quite a bit. Rawr. Bifla says, I just remembered something really weird that happened to me in kindergarten. What happened? And then don't worry, I'll get to another question in just a moment. Lots of 27s. there it is. Let's get some 28s. Nice. Ooh, I gotta sit up straight so I actually show up. And 25s. Lots of just different reds in this. Where's the rest of the 25s? I don't know. 29? Here we go. Didn't get all of those either. So there must be more somewhere. Oh, here's some 29s. Big red stripe thing. I wonder if this will be all of them. Oh, there's some 22s. Were we looking? Oh, there's one more 29 somewhere. There it is. 22s. Is this the rest of them? Nice. Can I find the 25s over here too? That'd be nice. Doesn't seem like that. I still don't see them. I'll look around a bit though. Oop, there they are. Nice, got them. What about a 31? 31? We are looking for a 31. There's some 30s over here. Let's see. We flow says, so I need to go to the toilet, and this girl from my class came after me into the boys' bathroom, and she's like, hi. And of course I say, what are you doing here? And then she ran. That's fantastic. Yeah, weird stuff like that happens in kindergarten. Alright, 34. Lots of 34s. Alright. Let me read another question. 2 years after, she was chasing one of my friends, yelling that she will marry him. Oh dear. Little boy crazy then. Alright. And the question is, would you ever marry yourself? So I thought about this, and I'm like, honestly, maybe. Like if there was suddenly a clone of me. Like, think about it. We'd already be on the same page on all the critical issues. We'd know how the other person likes to be treated. So I don't know. I don't know if I actually would, but I would seriously consider it. Leafla says, and I'm still in school with that girl right now. She just goes past me. Odd. Alright. 35s, I think we're over here. Boop. Not very many of those. Some 36s. 37s. Alright. Excuse me. Alright. Let's read another question. And the question is, what does love feel like? I think it really does depend what kind of love you're talking about. Like, for example, familial love feels really different from romantic love. And romantic love feels different than friendship love. And, general love of people is different than familial love. So it's all the different kinds of love feel different. So familial love is it feels like protectiveness and closeness and understanding. Romantic love feels like caring and happiness, hope for the future, stuff like that. Friendship love feels like happiness and companionship and funny and fun. Stuff like that. Weepa says, hope. I don't know if you were changing a word you said before, or if that was you responding to the question, but I think it works either way. But yeah, love can feel like a lot of different things. There we go. Well, we're getting there. Weebfella says, also, I didn't want to initially tell this, but the reason I hate, like, 13-year-olds having relationships is because that girl tried to kiss me right there. Yikes. Yeah. That's why, like, for me, relationships, it's like consent and communication are important. Consent is a big one. Like, yeah. But that's a whole other thing. I'm unrolling a few questions. Oh boy, you guys are going to get a kick out of one of these. I don't know why I rolled these up so tight, because I knew I was going to have to unroll them all today. So, that was just a dumb. Weebfella says, and I think of it, it's just so cringy. Yeah. Alright, unrolling questions. Doo-doo-doo. There we go. Alright. Questions have been unrolled. There we go. Alright. Oh, some of these are going to be great. Alright, sitting up a little bit more. Alright. So let's keep coloring and we'll go through some of these questions. Alright, so let's see. And the question is, favorite romantic movie? I feel so bad, guys. When I wrote this question, I could only think of one movie. Do you guys even want to guess what it was? I'll give you a minute. If anyone wants to guess, you can guess, and then I'll tell you in like 45 seconds. Found the last two. Perfect. Weebfella says, and from there, my plan was to get to 15 and maybe then consider those. Yeah, it's not a bad plan. Alright. So you guys ready to hear what the only romantic movie I could think of was? I know I've seen other romantic movies and there are ones I liked, but the first and only movie that came to mind last night when I was writing these questions was Shrek. You know, big green ogre, all that. And I thought about it, I'm like, actually, it's not too bad. A romantic story, but, like, still, for that to be the only thing I could think of. Shrek. And then I thought about it, and you're like, you know what? It's good enough. We're gonna roll with it. Oh, the book says boop. Boop. Alright, two more. But by the time we finish these two, we should have gone through all the stories and all the questions. So it's gonna be perfect. Oh, yikes. Oh, yikes. So big. Alright. Let's see, what's the next question? Weebfella says, also wanted to tell you and Leo that if you ever feel bad, think about the fact that you both made this socially awkward kid talk to people. Yeah, I love streaming. I feel like I've been able to at least a little bit help some people, which is awesome. Which is also why I have like the sushi adoption agency. I don't know if you guys saw that on my Discord server, but it's like this whole thing where like if you really need some extra help in your life, you can sign up for that to get some extra help, and I can try and either myself help you or direct you towards resources to help you with stuff, which is pretty cool. No one's actually signed up for it, but that's okay. Also, my mod applications are still open. Alright, and the next question is, who or what do you think of when you think of love? So what comes to mind for me almost immediately is my family. So obviously I think of my husband, and that's family. But then after that, I start to think of like my parents and my brothers and my grandparents. Because I am so lucky to have been born into a loving, supportive family. And I know not everybody has that. And I've realized that more over the years as I got older. And so I'm doing my best now to appreciate what I have. Because I know not everybody has that. And we're actually, don't tell him this, but we are considering seeing if we can bring my brother-in-law, so my husband's younger brother, to the next family reunion. Which normally it's just like, you know, direct descendants of my grandparents. So he wouldn't normally go, but we're thinking of asking if we could bring him to one. Because it's just such a loving environment. We figured it'd be such a great thing for him to experience. But yeah. So when I think of love, I think of family. I think of my family. Because there's so much support there and so much... I don't know if I'd say understanding, because it's not always understanding, but it is support. Like, my family knows I'm bi. Not all of them agree with it or think it's a good thing, but they've never said anything bad to me about it. They've said they understand. You know, some of them have asked some questions about it to understand it, and that's awesome. Weebfella says, and by the way, I'm scared of Shrek because I got jump scared by being sent a link when I was 7. Oh no. Apparently they're making another Shrek movie. I'm very curious to see where they go with it. Because, like, some of the movies I thought were really good, and some of them were just, like, not good. So I'm hoping this is going to be, like, a quality one. And I'm wondering where they're going to go, because the last movie they made very much felt like we're wrapping up, this is the end kind of thing. So I'm just like, what are you going to do now? Like, where are you even going to go with this? So I guess we'll see. We'll find out. I know there are more 3s in here somewhere. More 3s. There we go. All the 3s. Alright. Clearing the ears. Alright. Let's see. Let me get to another question, actually, because I want to get through the questions and all the stories by the time I get through all the coloring. Hopefully. Alright. Oh, this is going to be a cute one. So the question is, what moment did you know that they were the one? So this is about my husband. The moment I knew is back when we were dating. So this is in the first few months of our relationship. There was a time he was over at my house, well, my parents' house, and I was, like, doing my diabetes stuff, like checking my blood sugar, giving insulin, and he came over and was asking me questions about it. Like, he was actually taking the time to sit there and learn about my diabetes and how it works, and he tried giving me my shot. Like, he learned how to do it all. And for me, that was the moment I knew. Because, you know, all my friends, my ex had showed varying degrees of interest in it. But he's the only person who took that much time to actually learn every step what to do. You know, I'd never had someone do that for me before. And so I was just, you know, besides like my mom and dad, and I think my grandparents knew how to do it. But that was the first time someone who had no familial or any, you know, big obligation to learn it, you know, took the time to learn how to do it. Someone who had no obligation. And I'm just like, this is amazing. And it meant so much to me. And it did come in handy because there have been times where he has been the one to give me my shot when I wasn't feeling well. There are times where he's been the one to, you know, take care of it because, you know, I go low in my sleep or I'm sick. And so it meant a lot. Because not everyone would do that. You know, not everyone would do that for their spouse, let alone for their, you know, very short-term girlfriend. Because at the time we had, you know, it was short. So it meant a lot to me. That was the moment I knew he was the one. At least to keep dating. I don't know if I thought I was gonna marry him at that point, but that moment showed me that this is a good one. I'm dating a good one. So many twos. But yeah. Because there was actually a time where I had a seizure in the middle of the night. My blood sugar was low and I had a seizure. I don't remember this. He told me about it, but apparently I was like, had blood in my mouth. I was kind of frothing at the mouth and shaking. And he knew, he checked my blood sugar, he gave me glucagon, which is like the emergency shot. So that was amazing that he learned so much. He was so careful with it. He always knew what to do and was able to take care of me when it mattered. Which to me is amazing. The other 3. Got it. Alright. Let's try and get through the last questions, because then I'll tell more stories. And the question is, are you open to the idea of marriage counseling? I know some people aren't, but I totally am. Like, if it ever got to the point where I felt like we needed it, I'd be like, heck yeah, let's do it. Because it's like, if you really love someone, if you really care about a relationship, you know, isn't it worth doing that to make it healthy and happy and lasting? So I am confused by people who say they would not be open to it. But to each their own, I suppose. Blah. Lots of twos. Alright, let me dump out the rest of the questions. Ooh. So we've got 7 questions left. I'm going to unroll the last ones. Sorry, I know it might feel like I'm rushing a little more now, and it's because I am. I'm starting to lose my voice. So my throat's starting to hurt. And I can tell that after too much more talking, I will lose my voice. So I'm going to try and unroll the questions, get through them, tell all my stories. Come on. Opening all the questions. Okay, so some of these questions will be short, which is kind of nice. Can work a story into that one. Cool. Can work a story into that one. Can work a story into that one. Perfect. Some of these are going to work out nicely. Sorry, unrolling the last question. Alright, and I can work a story into that one. Perfect. I'm going to work a bunch of stories in. Alright, let's do the easier ones first. So the question is, have you ever sent or received flowers? I actually have. Had you asked me yesterday, the answer would have been no. My husband got me some flowers today. Thank goodness he also got me food, because if he had just gotten me flowers, I would have been like, really? You know me. I like food. Feed me. Feed me. Yeah, so I'm the kind of person where it's like, you know, flowers are nice, but don't really want. I would rather have food. Yeah, he also got me food, which is good, because I like food. Alright, let's do this one. And the question is, favorite Valentine's candy? So as sad as I am, they have actually discontinued my favorite candy. It's the, like, conversation heart candies. And they weren't actually great candies, but they're so nostalgic. Like, I would still eat them. I wonder if they'll ever bring them back just due to popular demand. Like, so many people are like, no, don't take them away. I have no idea why they were discontinuing them. I'm hoping, like, I heard a few different sources saying it, so I don't think it's like a misinformation thing. If I just heard one person say it, I think I'd be like, oh, that's just a rumor, but no, multiple sources. It make me sad. Weepfella says, I mean, that syrup is actually a Canadian thing, right? What syrup? I'm confused. Mortal Creature says, don't you just hate it when they discontinue foods? Yes, my favorite chocolate bar, they discontinued. So it's like when I finally went back to the States to visit after getting married, I asked my mom to like bring me some. She's like, yeah, they discontinued it. And I'm like, no! Sadness. Weepfella says, we do not have Halloween. You tell me now about candy. I am confused. You don't have Halloween? Do you have any cool holidays that we don't have over here? Hello? Mortal Creature says, what is your favorite candy? Favorite candy? That's hard. It depends on what I'm craving, honestly. It changes. No, you don't have any cool holidays that we don't have over here? Halloween is considered satanic. It's actually more related to like the winter harvest, not the fall harvest, than Satan, but okay. I better get through stories, because actually I have one more I was going to do after this one. Mortal Creature says, your favorite chocolate candy they discontinued. I'm so sad! It was like a chocolate bar. It was like this big, and it had like, it was made by Lint, had these like bubbles that were filled with like this raspberry, like liquid, I guess. It's the best way to describe it. It was so good. I am upset. I am upset they discontinued it, because it was amazing. Ew. United Statesy flag. Gross. I'm upset about the States right now, but I'm not going to get into politics because that will just make me angry. Right, I gotta actually get these questions done. Alright. Favorite love song. So I had two that were kind of tied in my mind. One is 1,000 Light Years Away, which is the end credits song from Slime Rancher. So if you actually want to hear that song, it's in the Slime Rancher series. All the Slime Rancher videos have descriptions of what I did, and it's the one that says, you know, we did the end credits in this one. But yeah, because it's super romantic. It's like saying how even 1,000 light years away, you know, someone can still be in love with you. Mortal Kutra says, I can't find Warhead candy canes anymore, and I'm mad. I'm sorry. Hopefully you will find a new candy that you like that is equally as wonderful to you. But yeah, and then my other favorite love song is All of Me by John Legend. And the reason is, one, it's a nice love song. It's saying, you know, they'll devote themselves entirely to the person they love. And the other reason is, it is my husband and I, it's what we consider our song, because on our first date, we went to a Mormon dance, and it was the first slow song we ever danced to together. And so that's become very much our song. It's representative of the journey we've had together and how we, even after all this time, are still completely devoted to each other. So yeah, those are my favorite love songs. And the reasoning behind it. Alright, let me get this filled in. Alright. So I've got 4 questions left, and then I've got some more stories to tell. And I'm going to see if I can work some of these stories into things. All right. So let's do this one, then this one. Okay, I have the order. All right, and the next question is, have you ever loved someone so much it hurt? I'm going to say yes. Just because, well, lots of reasons. So with my husband, yes. Because it hurt when we were long distance, when we were away from each other. I'm going to say with my family, yes. Because with my, my parents, my brothers, it hurts because I love them and I miss them. I'm so far away from them now that, I only get to see them like once a year, if that. Which is sad. And then also familial love, because, my in-laws, they do lots of things that are self-destructive, and it makes me sad because I see the potential they have. And I want them to do as well as they can in life, but they aren't always doing things that will get them there. So that hurts. And then, I've had crushes where it's like, at the time it hurt that they didn't like me back, stuff like that. But that pales in comparison to other things I've gone through. I've gone through a lot. I've learned better ways to deal with some of it. But yeah. All right, 3 questions left. All right. And the next question is, favorite part of your first kiss? All right. So this is the question that I said earlier, like I was saving a story for now about my first kiss. So as I said earlier, my first kiss was with my husband. So the only person I've kissed, aside from kiss on the cheek, like with my brothers and stuff, is my husband. And so when we were dating, he told me his longest relationship prior to me had been about a month. And it was about 3 months into our relationship before... Aren't these ones pretty? I'm not going to do these because they take so long. But I am going to do this one. And so it was about 3 months into our relationship before I was ready to have my first kiss. And what I thought the best part was he was so patient, waiting for me to be ready, waiting till I was comfortable. He told me, he made sure I knew, but he didn't pressure me. He knew that I knew that he wanted to kiss. But he never pressured me. He just made sure I knew. So we were on the same page. So when I was finally ready, we went to a park that I like. And we're like, okay, let's try this. So the part I appreciated was his patience with me. All I knew about kissing was from books and TV shows. So I don't know what I expected. They talk about, I felt fireworks and all this. And so first kiss, I was like, okay. I didn't really get anything from it. And so I feel so bad. The first words out of my mouth after our first kiss were, I think I might be ace. And he still gives me a hard time about that, even just earlier today. But, we've kissed more. We kiss now every day, before he leaves for work. All that kind of stuff. So, it took me time to get to the point where I realized, it's more about, it's a special thing to do with the person I care about, rather than it's fireworks and so amazing. At least for me. So yeah, that was our first kiss. He still gives me a hard time. Sometimes he'll kiss me and just be like, after we kiss, he'll be like, I think I might be ace. Just to give me a hard time. But it's all good. It's all in good fun. Filling in all the colors. Oh no. There's much sad in chat. Like, I'm glad you guys are able to talk to each other about it. Just so you guys know, if you guys ever need people to talk to, you can message me or my husband on Discord or anything. Like, you know, we have our lives too, so we have sometimes we won't be 24/7 available, but, you know, if you really need someone to talk to, we're always happy to be there for you guys. Alright. So, let's see. I have 2 questions left. I'm going to do this one. Once I get the questions done, I'll end off on telling the last few stories. Alright. So this question is, when was the first/last time you had a crush on someone? So I'm going to talk about the first time. So I'm going to talk about both the first crush I actually remember and the first crush that I had and I've been told stories about. So the first crush I apparently ever had that people knew about was there was this kid in my first grade class. For those of you who don't know, I actually skipped kindergarten. So I was in kindergarten for a couple months and then they skipped me ahead. And in my first grade class, there was this boy that apparently I liked a bunch because we had like little writing projects we had to do where we had to like practice writing and we'd write little stories. But apparently a bunch of my stories centered around like me being a princess or something and going on adventures with or being rescued by this boy I liked. And apparently like my teacher actually talked to my mom saying like, oh, we should probably have her not do that as much. It's kind of awkward for the other kid. So in retrospect, I feel so bad. Like that must have been so embarrassing for him. But I don't actually remember that. I missed some stuff. Weeb says, nah, Leo got too much about me crying about Romania. Ordo Kutra says, I already talked to you about my problem and that's all I remember. Still nothing else really. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Where was I going with that? Right, so that was the first crush I had that people told me about. And then the first one I remember. Sorry, I know I'm kind of rushing through the stories now, but I want to make sure to fit them all into today's stream before I lose my voice. So the first crush I actually remember is I lived in one city in Oregon for a while. For like the little bit of kindergarten, 1st and 2nd grade. And then the summer between 2nd and 3rd grade, we moved to a nearby city. And so we moved, okay, got that color done. And so we moved, and there is a boy that was in my Sunday school class at church. Mortal Creature says, what song is this? I have no idea. It's just the background music for the game. Super relaxing though, at least for me. Anyway, so I remember having a crush for him, and I kind of had an on and off crush on him for a long time. We're talking years. And it's so funny. So that's the first one I remember, and it actually got to the point where I was like, I had a crush on him, but I didn't really know how to process, like, what is a crush? What is love? All this. So my little brain decides the best way to figure out all of this was to do research. So I had like a book of poems, I had a book of famous quotes, and I had like a kid's dictionary. And I like looked up love, and I, you know, put a little sticky note in it, and I wrote down quotes that talked about love to try and figure out what is love actually, what does it feel like? So it's just a little kid's very analytical approach to trying to figure out what love is. And say I had an on and off crush on him for a long time. I don't know why. I don't know if it was personality, because we did talk some. At one point, we were friends for a little bit, and we actually did get along, I thought. You know, it was nice to look at. Something nice to look at during Sunday school classes. But yeah, I still remember, like, the one thing that meant a lot was, one time I went to, like, get water from the fountain during class, and I went and used the bathroom, and when I was in the bathroom, I was singing. And when I came out, he was at the fountain. Like, he was just getting a drink of water and had heard me, because, you know, there's, like, the sound from the bathroom comes out very well, apparently. That's how I learned that. And he told me I had a good singing voice. And for someone who loved to sing, but was nervous singing in front of people, and to this day I still don't think I'm very good, it meant a lot. And I still remember it. I doubt he would if I asked him about it. But it meant a lot. So I had a crush on him on and off. Mild crush for a long time. Never told him. Nothing ever came of it, but yeah. So that's both the first crush that I apparently had, and other people have told me stories about since, and the first crush I remember, and I think cut myself with the end of my pen. Mortal Creature says, did the stream chat on night mode go from black to navy blue? I don't think so. It still looks black on my screen. But yeah. So I've told a bunch of the stories now. Oop. So I've got a few stories left. Alright. And here's the last question for today. The question is, do you have a type? Oh, Mortal Creature says, why did the stream chat on night mode go from black to navy blue? I don't know. Anyway, the question is, do you have a type? And I do, although it is slightly different for males and females. So for those of you who don't know, I am bi, so I can be attracted to males or females. So in males, I tend to like, and this is like physical traits. I'm not talking about personality. But I tend to like scrawnier, thinner, taller guys. And then I really like red or like light brown hair. Although sometimes blonde. Blonde, I don't like on everybody, but there's a couple blondes where I'm like, oh, blonde really works on you and it looks great. And so that's what I like in guys. And in girls, I tend to prefer on the thinner side, but not scrawny. There are particular features on the front and back that people tend to prefer one or the other. I am more of a feature on the front kind of person. I am not going to say explicitly, though. Nice. Finish that one. It's pretty. And I tend to like blondes or redheads. So yeah. So that's just physical traits. For me, like, personality matters a lot more. So let's pick like one more thing to do. Let's look at the bonus ones. Oh, here, we'll do this Valentine's Day one. This is new. So we'll work on this until we're done. Alright. So let's see. And that is the end of questions. So I'm gonna talk about, I've got 4 kind of people left to highlight. So I'm gonna talk about each of them. And I'll end on my one ex and my husband. Alright. So let's see. I'll talk about, let's see. I'm gonna go, so I'll start with, there was a guy that sat at my table in freshman English that I eventually developed a crush on. I liked his personality and he fit the physical type I like. You know, very nice. We ended up becoming friends. We talked a bit, and then there was a whole drama that went down. Basically what happened is there was a girl that I was friends with, and we were all kind of in the same English group. And she knew I liked him, and he eventually knew I liked him. And she kind of gave me a few chances to kind of go for him, especially in the group projects. It'd be like, you know, we did a Romeo and Juliet unit where we had to do our own adaptation, and he was going to be Romeo, and she offered that I could be Juliet. But I was too nervous. I didn't take the chance. So she ended up being Juliet. And so they did that. And the thing went well. It was a good project. But afterwards, I kind of regretted it for a while. Because not a super long time after that, they ended up getting together and dating for a while. And I think it was unfortunate. Because for a while, he and I had played like on a Minecraft server together. And it was tons of fun. But he ended up inviting her on, and then they ended up kind of splitting off doing their own thing. Which, in retrospect, I totally understand. I should have left it more alone. But I felt terrible because I felt like I was being left out. I was lonely. I was being left behind. And so I'd always try and like go find them in the Minecraft world. And, you know, I'd save the location. Because you could have commands to like set home. So I'd save the location of where their little home was at. So I could like go visit them. And, you know, at first they were kind of okay with it. But then they like, since it was his server, he'd like delete my saved coordinates. And because, you know, they wanted some time to themselves. Which I get, especially when it's a new relationship. Yeah, so I ended up kind of getting pushed out of the group a little bit. You know, at least part of that was definitely my fault, because I wouldn't let it go. But, you know, my feelings were really hurt. It took me a long time to figure out, you know, what really happened and understand from their perspective. Most likely how they felt about me always trying to hang around. But hurt feelings all around, because they both knew that I liked him, but yeah. Eventually, though, they had like a countdown sign in their house to when she was going to turn 16, because that's when they were going to start dating. And there were a few days they forgot to update it. So I don't know if they ever knew, but I updated it for them. Oop, 1 second. But yeah, so I went and updated their sign for them a few times. I don't know if they ever knew, but yeah. So that was one. That was a hard one. I was bitter about that for a long time. I don't know how much of me being bitter was justified, honestly. I think some of it was justified, some of it wasn't. So, but yeah, what I learned from that is, you know, I had a chance. You know, the girl gave me a chance. She was doing things to help me go for it, and I wasn't ready. I wasn't confident enough. So I didn't. So, you know, I was mad. I was bitter for such a long time. But, you know, it is what it is. It taught me some lessons that took me a long time to get through my head. But I hope they understand how I felt and why I was upset. And I hope they understand that I wasn't trying to be a pain to them. I just felt left out. I was lonely. I felt like, you know, this Minecraft server that has been such a source of comfort, I felt like I was being pushed away. But yeah, I hope they know that. I hope they know. I hope they at least one day hear that from me. But yeah. So that's one story down. I've got 3 to go. Alright. So let's get on to the next story. See what next. Alright, I'm going to save my ex and my husband for last, so I'm going to tell the one other story. So there is only one girl that I've actually asked out on a date. And she handled it awesome. I'm just going to say that. Like, she is straight. But she handled it amazingly. So what I did is, we were talking, I think during the summer. And I knew I was interested in her. And so she was asking me when my birthday was. And I kind of, jokingly was saying, oh, I'll tell you if, but you have to agree to go out on a date with me. And she actually ended up saying yes. She talked to me on the date and was saying, like, she had a boyfriend, she was straight. Which I super appreciated. Like, she went, she gave it a shot. She knew she wasn't interested, but she let me know after. She was super cool about it. Which is awesome. And so we ended up, like, going to my house. We got snacks. We played board games. So nothing crazy. But it was tons of fun. I had fun. I walked her back because she was going to meet. Her mom was going to pick her up at the school. And so we walked back to the school. Before we got up to school, she gave me a kiss on the cheek. And that was that. So it was super cool. It was like, my one time going on a date with a girl. Because not super long after that, I ended up meeting my husband. So I never really had any other times when it would have made sense to try dating girls again. But oh, sorry, I missed some stuff in chat. Weevil says, so it was that Minecraft girlfriend age. We all knew each other in real life. It wasn't just on the server. But yeah, so it was the one time I tried dating a girl. It was fun. She was super awesome about it, honestly. Alright. So now finally, I've never told you guys the full story about the one ex I have. So here goes the story. So I know I've mentioned my tech class a few times, the one that I really like. So I met him and I took classes from this teacher all 4 years of high school. I met him my sophomore year. And we ended up just, like, talking some in class. So it was like he had a My Little Pony thing up on his screen. And it was a character I recognized, and so I asked him about it. And so we started talking more. He eventually came and sat closer to the area where me and my friend sat. And eventually, I was so nervous. I told him that I liked him. He said he liked me too, so we ended up dating. We dated about 6 months. We didn't end up doing a lot, but it was nice. He was super awesome to me. I feel bad in retrospect because it's like I'd never dated before. I didn't really know what to do. I was a super awkward little potato that was raised Mormon, so I wasn't even sort of ready to try kissing or anything. So I feel bad, but it was nice. It was a great first relationship. Like, it didn't end. It's not like big dramatic breakup. I don't really know why, but it didn't go badly. It was nice. I'm trying to think. There's not a lot to say about it. It was a pretty calm, steady, like, we'd hold hands, we'd talked a lot. We did, like, an online role play about, like, pretending to go visit places, which was awesome. Which is tons of fun, actually. But yeah, I haven't talked to them in a while. I hope they're doing awesome. Wish them all the best in life. So yeah, this is the story of my ex. Like, there's some smaller specific things I could say, but nothing stands out really big in my mind. They did on Valentine's Day, though, during the time when we were dating, they did give me a gift. They gave me a little necklace with, like, a heart pendant. It was really nice, actually. I still have the chain for it, just not the charm that was on it. But yeah. Alright. So that brings me on to, I saved my husband for last. This is crazy big, but I'm going to work on this one while I'm telling stuff about my husband. Probably won't finish it, but... So one, my husband is super awesome. So I've kind of told the general story of how we met, but I have a few specific things I was going to tell, more Valentine Z related. So there was one Valentine's Day when we were living in Utah where we were trying to figure out what to do to celebrate, because we had like no money to spend on frivolous things at the time. So we're talking like we could not even spend $1 at this point. But he was trying to figure out like something to do, and I was trying to figure out something to do, and we were both kind of planning things without telling the other person. But what we ended up doing is we went, and on the campus there was a few places we could go to just kind of hang out. So I got dressed up nice. I had on like a nice dress. One of my roommates did my hair. Lead Fella says, okay, it is 2 a.m. and I want to catch the stream's end. Yeah, I'm trying to. This is the last couple stories, I swear. Oh, sorry, I gotta check one thing. So we ended up, I got dressed up all nice. We went and played pool, which is fun. And then he surprised me. He had like a little, you know the marshmallow peeps? It was like a heart-shaped one of those, like a Valentine's Day one, which was super awesome. But what I didn't learn until much later is that he had actually shoplifted it. And it was like a $1 thing, so it's not like he shoplifted hundreds of dollars worth of stuff. But he had shoplifted this marshmallow peep for me because he wanted so badly to give me something. And that reminds me, next time we're in Utah, I'm going to make him go to that store and actually pay them back. But it was, you know, it's kind of nice that's like he wanted so badly to do something for me. I wish he had chosen a different way to do it. But it made my day because he told me he had like had $1 left and had saved it. Which I kind of suspected he had lied about that, but he didn't outright tell me he had until much later. So I have like one more story. Alright, let's see. So I got that. Yeah, and then I'm just gonna tell like the story of our wedding day. I think that's the last thing. Yeah. Alright. So our wedding was super chill. It was like the most chill wedding you could possibly think of. The only thing we paid money for was at the courthouse, basically paying the, I don't know what the fee was, like a processing fee or like application fee. We basically like paid the basic fee that you get to do the marriage license. And that was all we spent money on. Like my grandparents and parents took us out to lunch. And we had like a, what's it called? Like a potluck with my extended family the weekend before. But, that was it. We had a super chill wedding. I dressed up in just a blue dress I had. We didn't buy a new dress or anything. He wore a suit. If you guys want to see pictures, let me know on Discord and I will show you guys pictures because they are fabulous. But, yeah, it was super chill. We got married. In his vows, he actually promised me unlimited cuddles and Mountain Dew. And then here, I'll end on a funny story. You know the wedding vows, you say, I do? I swear. So he said, I do. The person doing it said the thing. I said super quietly. Instead of saying I do, I said, E. Like, yes, but E. Thank goodness I said it so quietly, nobody heard me, so I got a chance to be like, I do. And say the actual thing I was supposed to, but my first thing I said was E. It's just like, that's terrible. But yeah. I think that is the end. I think I told all the stories I was gonna. I answered all the questions. I hope you guys had a great time. We didn't really finish this, but that's okay. We finished a whole bunch of other ones. So yeah, hopefully you guys found that entertaining. I am hungry and need to use the bathroom, so I'm gonna end here. But I hope you guys had a great time. I loved doing this despite my voice being sore now. Tomorrow is Friday. I'll either be starting the Oblivion series or the Portal series. I don't know which yet. I'm going to do some tests tonight to figure that out. Do I have anything else? I think that's about it. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Hopefully your Valentine's Day went well or goes well, depending on whether or not it's over yet. And yeah, I'll be on Discord most of the night, so if you want to talk to me, I'll be there. I'll probably also post some pictures from my husband and I's wedding. Just stick with the Valentine's Day theme for today. Bifla says, good night, I'm tired, can't imagine how you feel. Actually, not bad. It's only like 7 in the evening for me. But yeah, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, rest of your night, whatever the case may be. And I'll see you guys all again soon. Bye.